Welcome back to Ball Talk with me, Lewis Bryon, and today I'm joined as usual by goalkeeper Ollie Webber. And Ollie, today we're going to be talking all about transfers and giving like the insights and behind the scenes of what really goes on behind closed doors, basically. So what happens when a club wants to sign you? For example, like, do you meet them? Where do the deals get done?
Yeah.
Because you've moved a few times, haven't you?
We've moved a few times, and normally what happens is they go for your agent. Your agent go, oh, so-and-so are interested in you. Early doors, we're just trying to figure out how to structure the deal. So when I left Palace to go to Portsmouth, it was all about Portsmouth are interested in you, and then they got to obviously speak to the club and figure out how to do the deal.
So how did you find out they were interested? Was it just like phone call?
Just my agents phoned me up and said, look, it was in the January window near the end, had a couple of clubs sniffing around and wanted to try and get out, and agent rang me and was, look, Portsmouth are really keen on you, they like you, they want you, want to sign you, and they're just going to start speaking to the club to get a deal sorted, because my contract was up in 6 months' time, so they were just then they went through the club, speak to the club about how they want the deal, do they want a fee, do they want it to go for as a free transfer, maybe a sell-on clause, all of that, add-ons, but that's kind of normally you hear first and foremost from your agent, and then you kind of let him deal with it and the club deal with it, because sometimes you get told so-and-so interested in you, but nothing ever happens, so it's just...
It can fall through, yeah.
Yeah, it can fall through, because they can be interested in 4 or 5 people, and they go, we'll go down this route this time, or they might go down your route, so it's just, you don't really look into it too much, just let the agent sort it out, and then when it starts speeding up, then you know, okay, something could happen here.
Yeah, and what's the timeline? Like, obviously, it changes a lot, but what's the timeline in terms of for that deal? Maybe like, is it?
I think it was maybe.
Like, is it in the work? Oh, really? So it's quick.
Maybe a week, 2 weeks. It's quite quick.
Yeah, because I don't know if you remember when James Daly was a pro at Palace.
Yeah.
And he's since played for like multiple EFL clubs, but when he was leaving, like it was January and he was like, I think he was about 20, and he was going to leave or looking to go out on loan. Yeah. And I remember we come into breakfast on the deadline day of the loans, and said to James, like, what's happening? Are you moving? He was like, nah, not heard anything. Don't know what's happening. We go out to train, come back in lunch. He said he's got a message off his agent saying, right, Bristol Rovers are looking to get you out on loan. So he's like, right, I've got a loan sorted that he found out on deadline day. Yeah. And then half hour later, one of the Palace staff come back in and told him, saying, right, you've gone out on a perm. Yeah. And he's gone. Like, so it's just, he didn't have much say in it, really, did he?
No, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it can be like that quick. Especially on deadline day, it's super quick, and they've got to get it done. And like, he was going to be alone, then he gets told to the perm. And it's like, you don't necessarily have to say, all you can say is, oh, no, I don't want to do that. But most people, the sensible thing is to do it. But it shows how quick it can be. Yeah,
and players, like, they have control to a certain degree because they want to, like, he wanted to get out of the club at the point, whether it was loan or perm. But, you know, he didn't have too much control of whether it was the loan or the permanent, because he got told 1 minute it's a loan and then just got told no, it's a perm. So it's players don't tend to have too much control over it.
Yeah, obviously, ultimately they can say no. No one's ever going to force them, but sometimes in that situation, it's, especially as a young kid, realistically, when you're not going to probably at a Premier League club make it through to the first team, it's harder. Sometimes a loan sounds good, but then when the perm option comes up, that makes more sense to get out and establish yourself over a couple of years in League 1, League 2. So that's kind of the only reason they wouldn't have a say.
Do you have you ever met any like managers or clubs face to face when you've gone before a move?
When I went to Portsmouth, it was just phone calls. Spoke to the obviously goalie coach and the manager on the phone. But as a free agent, I've met a few managers when I've been a free agent looking to clubs. But most of the time, it's just been phone calls. Yeah, just been like, it's easier, isn't it? Especially if you're moving. Especially you're down south, clubs up north, or whatever it is. It's mostly just a manager phone you up, or coach or goal. Someone phones you up from the club and just goes, "What do you think? You're interested? Here's our plan for you. So what you think, how you fit in," and they just try and sell the club to you, basically.
Yeah. I think maybe if you've got like if you're a higher profile player and you've got a few clubs after you, that's when they might want to bring you in. Obviously, time dependent. And try and like woo you a bit more.
Yeah, well, they would do. Yeah. That's when you hear the stories of them, the directors and stuff flying over to the club, the country, and when you're at that level, bigger level, it's all about trying to woo you, sit down and take you to a nice restaurant or a nice hotel and just try and woo you, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. How much say do like wives or girlfriends have in a move? Because obviously you got to move the family over potentially or to a different country. Like, do they have much say in from your experience, like, or from players you've heard of?
I would say so, yeah.
Do you reckon?
Especially
some players proper under the thumb.
Under the thumb, but also it makes sense, especially for like players who've got kids, wife, kids, schools, routine, and say they're based in Manchester and they get a club in London where it's like, do you...
Wife's like, no, we're not going.
Well, that happens. It's always someone's wife goes, well, no, I'm not moving. You've only signed a year contract, or you're only on loan, or it's short term. I'm not going to move the kids and us down. Short term. So I've had players, I know players that have driven from Manchester to London every day.
Really?
Yeah. Every day.
They do that, don't they?
Very rare. But I've known a few to do it. But sometimes the club will put them. Sometimes most clubs have a deal with a hotel.
Yeah.
So the player might get 20% discount and come down Monday, stay in the hotel Monday night, then drive back home Tuesday. You normally have Wednesday off. Kind of do it that way to balance it out. But they do have. Especially I think if kids are involved, it can be a bit more complicated and be like, is it worth taking them out of school if they're settled? So some players are proper under the thumb, but some players obviously do what they want. It just depends on the circumstance. I think kids involved definitely makes it a bit more complicated.
Yeah, I think it depends what stage of your career you're at as well. Like, regardless of kids or wife, if you're like still early 20s, mid 20s, you need to pick what's best for your career.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, definitely. And also with that, like players travelling, because clubs basically generally say you need to live within an hour and a half of the training ground.
Yeah,
when you when you join a club. But I know there was players who would say to the club, "Oh, well, I've moved here." Yeah. Just so they didn't have to tell the wife we've got to move, and they just drove in like an extra few hours every morning.
Yeah, it happens. I know players that drive 2.5, 3 hours a day. Yeah. There and then back, so 6 hours a day in a car.
That's mad, isn't it?
The lower levels is where you move quite a lot. You normally get signed like a 2-year contract, kind of like the longest you sign. So it's not worth every 2 years uprooting the whole family to move here, move there. Yeah. Sometimes it's easier just to drive if you can drive it. A lot of them do it. Yeah.
So just on this, a lot of people are curious about this. So who do you support? Man United.
Man United.
So as a football fan supporting Man United, could you sign for a team that you've hated, like your rivals? So for example, you're a big United fan, and you're at Palace, let's say. If Liverpool or Man City come in for you, could you sign for them? Yeah.
100%.
Wow, so no allegiance to your club?
No, not really, because they're big clubs, aren't they? You're not going to say, if someone says no, it's a bit silly, especially when you play football. You kind of lose. You just kind of don't support anyone. You kind of support the club you pay for. Yeah. That's your job. That's who you're paying you. You obviously still want your club to do well, but it's more as a child, as a kid thing. When you play it every day and it's your job, you don't go.
So you've screamed loads of abuse at Liverpool for years, and
then you go,
and you can just go join them. Yeah, I'm a Liverpool player now.
No problem. So I get stick from family and friends. Yeah, but all footballers do. Like, you get loads of. Harry Kane was an Arsenal fan. He played for Tottenham.
I think as time goes on, it's like, especially as time goes on, footballers do lose their allegiance to the club they support as a kid. Yeah, unless they end up playing for them the whole time.
Exactly. Like, would you not play for? You're an Arsenal fan. Would you not play for Spurs if Spurs?
No.
Yeah, you would.
I would not, man. I could not play for Spurs. No fucking way.
Even if you were if you were in the champ.
Oh, I don't know, man.
They come calling and offer you 50 grand a week, 4-year deal, starting, you're playing.
What else they offering me?
I don't know. Champions League football. So, I think most people would. They're going to say no. It's going to.
If they offer me a nice 5-bed in North London, then I might go. Plus, but I know what you mean. It depends on the situation. If you're going from champ to Champions League, then it's going to be hard to say no. Yeah. But if I'm going from Palace, let's say I'm a Palace first team footballer, Premier League regular starter, and Tottenham come in for me, the situation they're in now, I'm not going, man. Fuck that.
Fair. What about Chelsea?
Yeah, I'd go Chelsea. Yeah.
That's what I mean. So it's like you.
But Tottenham is a hate for me. Like,
and they're not as big as a club as Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool. So I do get that. But.
And because I obviously had to retire young, my allegiance to Arsenal is still higher because I've not had to play in a first. Let's say I played in a first team for Crystal Palace for 5-10 years. My allegiance for Arsenal might have dropped.
Yeah, it's true. But definitely, majority, let's say, players get and play.
Yeah,
a lot of them do and would play for rivals as clubs that they supported as a kid, because you kind of, like you say, you just lose that as time goes on. Yeah,
it's true. Do you is there rivalry between players about the size of fee they go for? Do you think at like the top level?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think there would be. I think there'd be obviously pressure. They might feel pressure, but other players might put pressure on them, being like, "Well, we signed you for 80 million and you've been crap."
Yeah,
maybe that, but I don't think. Right.
Like, but let's say there's two players that have gone to a team. Right, I've gone to a team. You've gone to a team, and I think I'm miles better than you. And they've signed you for 60 mil, and they only signed me for 20. I might not. Would you not feel like
yes?
Why have they paid 60 for him and 20 for me? I'm 10 times better than him.
Yeah, when you put it like that, I can maybe see that, but I still feel like it's 20 mil is still a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? And maybe there was reasons you were a smaller club or things like that. No, maybe I was a bigger club. I don't know, but I don't. Again, everyone's different. Me personally, I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Like in that situation, it wouldn't bother me.
Yeah,
that's just me. Some players it might do, but I feel like you like to think it wouldn't. I don't think it would, but I think it would be more maybe pressure in between. Like if you've signed for big money, you're not performing. Maybe other people in the squad are going, "Why do you spend that money? Or you're not worth it. Come on, pull your finger out," kind of thing. Maybe more that way.
Yeah.
I think, but I don't know. I don't think so. But
yeah. Have you ever had it where, like, for example, a player's come in for X amount, you know, let's say a good chunk, 30, 50 million, and he's come in and you've looked at him and think that's meant to be 50 million pounds worth of player, and he's shit. He's got a bit of a derby on him, like he's not doing it in training. Have you ever thought that?
No. The only time I ever experienced that really was at Palace.
Has any Palace signing come in and you thought you've spent that much on him and he's shit?
They've had a few shockers on loan moves.
Yeah, there's probably not been any standouts at Palace, but there's definitely I definitely heard players who someone's come in and they're like, we bought him for this much and he's just not doing it at all.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Let's talk about the agent role.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people say, like, it's the easiest gig in the world, especially when you've got these top players, because surely the club just wants, like, if you're a top player, surely the club just wants the player, and it's simple as that. Like, what does the agent actually do?
Well, the agent will negotiate the fee between the clubs. He'll be like sometimes the middleman between the clubs.
But if the player's in such high demand, is that an easy job?
I think so.
Yeah.
You like to think if it is, like you say, these a high level, it can't be that complicated. We want this amount.
Yeah.
A week. And they go, yeah, okay. That's basically you think would happen. They go, this is what we want.
It's a piece of piss at the top level, man.
I think so. I think like the player just takes care of it himself.
Yeah.
He's a superstar. He's worth 60 million. They go, well, there's 60 million for him. Perfect. Your club accepts it. Then the agent goes, okay, here's our contract proposal. That's what we want. And the club go, yeah, we can do that. Or they might go, actually, we don't want to do that. And maybe then he comes into maybe negotiate. But I think at that level, it surely is just a piece of piss, isn't it?
Yeah. I think at the younger ages when the agents, like, you actually get a lot more from your agents. Obviously, to start off with, my agent, they offered me free boots.
Yeah.
They brought an accountant in, stuff like that, which is really, that's stuff that's helpful.
Yeah.
Especially as a young player.
Definitely is. Yeah. So I think, again, I don't know, I'm not an agent, but you like to think it's fairly easier at the top level, because, like you said, the club, it just takes care of itself. You probably don't even need an agent, really. Yeah, it's true. What's the most menial task that you've heard agents do for players? Because I've heard some shockers, some mad, like, just crazy things. Yeah, the high level, there are ones that I do that. I've heard ones that are doing their washing for them. And then, like, come around the house and teach them how to use a washing machine and put a wash on for them, because they've just had no idea. Yeah, it's mad. Like, agents these days are, like, pretty much personal, like, they're PAs. Yeah. Really. I've heard players that get the agent to sort out their phones. They get them to sort out presents for the missus, flowers for the missus. Basically everything. Literally anything you ask, they will do. I actually know players that would text their agent before the emergency services.
Like if they're in trouble, like if they're in trouble, not texting the police or not texting the fire brigade, they're just going to get on the phone to the agent.
And they get him to do it.
Yeah, they'll just get him to do absolutely everything.
Yeah, I've not heard that, but that wouldn't surprise me. Some players just crash my car.
Yeah.
Instead of calling the ambulance or the police, just call the agent. Yeah. It's just crazy, isn't it?
Do you think players miss out on opportunities because of their agents? Because let's say the agent's getting offered X at one club and Y at another. He's going to pick the thing that's making him the most money. He's going to pick the club that's making the agent the most money.
Yeah, I think so. A good agent wouldn't, but there's a lot of dodgy agents out there. I think a dodgy one who's not got your best interests at heart would do that. Wouldn't even mention, let's say 2 clubs come in, they would just maybe mention the one club that offer more money.
Yeah, or they'll just say that whatever club is benefiting them the most is the best, is giving them the best deal as well.
Try and sell it to you. Yeah, but a good agent wouldn't do that. Would give you both offers, and I personally think that one's better. But you decide it's your career. But we hear stories, and there are people that force.
Yeah, thing is, that sounds good in terms of like, right, let the player see both complete deals, like all the details of them. But players also don't want to look through that shit.
That is also true. They just want to know how much am I earning.
Yeah.
What my bonuses.
And just
and how long the contract is. That's all a player cares about.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
rest of it, they're not so bothered. So yeah, that is also true.
Yeah, but some agents, in terms of deals, are miracle workers, aren't they? Because there's been poor players. I've seen poor players at young age groups and also first team that get amazing deals, and you're just like, how have you just done that?
Yeah. Some agents do, like I say, are miracle workers. So they say you do see deals, and you've gone, how on earth has he done that much? How's he got that?
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know how they do it.
Is there any that come to mind for you? Either young players you played with or older?
There's a few. There's a few. But one we probably know.
Yeah. Who? Do you want to name him?
I'm not going to name him on this.
No. We can bleep it out. Oh really?
He got his deal. He got a big deal. Here's one. Who are you thinking?
I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like in his position at the club we were at, Crystal Palace. He was like not really in favour that much, and then you see him a few years later, and that was at the under-21s, under-18s level. You see him a few years later, and he's at a championship club. Yeah. And like just been signed by them and involved with the first team.
Yeah, football's crazy, isn't it? You see people that in your academy that are nowhere near it, then you get a move or leave and get a really good move and then just fly on. But there are, you do get a few people that have good agents that pull it out of the bag for them.
I'll tell you who must have had a good agent. When we were at Palace, Max Meyer. Yeah. Remember, we spoke about him previously, but he was basically the highest paid player at the club for a certain time over Wilfried Zaha. He was on what, 145 a week?
So I don't know the number, but it was something crazy. He was on because he signed him on a free transfer, and he was meant to be the next best thing. Yeah, meant to be a superstar. Obviously, it didn't work, but they paid him big money. Yeah, and he was like, he was a top player from where he'd come from, like somewhere in Europe. Yeah. But to be put on the free transfer obviously helped, but to be put on like more money a week than Zaha is mad, and then he barely played. He was a massive flop, and again, agent done wonders. Pulled it out of the bag for him because I think after he left Palace, his career's just gone even further. Yeah, but his agents collected the dough. He don't care. And Max Meyer don't care because he's on 145k for. He was there for like 4 years. Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Probably cigar out, gone. Yeah, chilling now, complete life. But sometimes there are some agents that just, I don't know how they do it, but just pull it out. Yeah. Pull certain moves out, and you go, how on earth is that a player done that? It does happen from time to time. It's like when you go on a night out, you know. Yeah. It's like on a night out, obviously, occasionally, good-looking people will get with good-looking people, right? Occasionally, there's an FA Cup draw, and you know. Not so good looking person will pull a worldie. Yeah. And you're thinking, how the fuck has that happened? Yeah. But these things happen in football and in the nightclub. Yeah, this is true, and this is the way life works, isn't it? Yeah. Have you ever had an FA Cup draw? You know what? I've had a few shocking results in my time. Okay, let's move on. Sorry, just on the transfer, I think Bentner was another one. Remember Bentner, the Arsenal player? Yeah. He got moved to Juventus. He did, didn't he? I think it was after Arsenal. I was thinking, I don't know how that happened. So it is. Some of them you just think like it can be a bit cliquey as well. Yeah, it's just even recently Rashford to Barca is a bit.
Yeah, but that's a bit more like justified. Rashford better than fucking Bent.
Well, no, he is better, but even still, I see a couple of years he's had was crazy. But there's so many transfers over the years you've gone, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
What the club's doing.
I think a lot of it is like network contacts, because there was a standard one for Palace, young pros at Palace. They'd all go out to that Swedish club, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
Because one of the owners knew the manager there or something.
Yeah, Roy Hodgson as well, because he managed over there as well.
Yeah, so
he was manager. So there are some.
It is like not just its face value. It can be quite clicky.
It can be.
Let's go more on to the end of the transfer window now.
Yeah.
You always see like clubs have just signed a player and you're just like, you did not expect that, especially on deadline day. Do you think it's more like panic stations at the end, like deadline day for clubs?
I think so.
Like you said earlier, they've got 5-6 different targets and they've spent the month trying to sort them all out. They can't get them over the line, so last minute they've had to pick the bottom one.
Yeah, so sometimes I think that happens a lot. It's panic stations.
Yeah.
They need a striker and they're like, with the 4 ones we want, for example, don't want to come, so they've got to go from the bottom of the barrel. But sometimes I think as a player that can suit you as well, because sometimes you can probably get a bit more money.
Yeah,
so if they're more desperate, you might be able to get.
True, actually.
Especially Lolo, you might be able to get a couple grand more a week, or bonuses, or a couple £100 more a week on top than what you originally would have got, because they're desperate.
Yeah,
you can kind of play it both ways.
Yeah, so that was one of the questions from the listeners was, is it better or worse for players when it's a last minute deal? So
I would say overall, I think it'd be better.
Money wise, definitely.
I think so. I think because it depends. If the club's desperate to do it and want to do it quickly, they're gonna just pay it.
Yeah.
So I would say more times than not, it's probably better. Obviously, there'll be some times if as a player, if you're trying to leave a club that you're not playing, you're not wanted, and then deadline day, you might be a bit more desperate. You might go, I'll take less just to get the move
just
through.
To get out. Yeah.
So it depends on your situation. But I think if you're a player that maybe is happy, doesn't necessarily want to move, but something comes through and they give you more money, I think it's going to work in your favour more than it wouldn't.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some good deadline day signings. I remember Ozil was a great one for Arsenal. That was deadline day, but that was obviously a great signing. But yeah,
I can't think on the top of my head, but there's been a few shockers as well.
Yeah, definitely. Do you remember when, I swear it was like Chelsea or Mourinho was after like Peter Crouch and he was like pretty much retired. He said, I need a striker who's above 6'2", and he was like the only one.
That would have been brilliant.
Yeah, imagine.
You do get some random transfers and some. Like I said the Ozil one was big, but I can't think top of my head. I can't think of any. Yeah. Any other ones?
We'll move on. Do players or agents ever leak news to inflate the price?
Great question. I've never seen it.
No.
But I'm sure they 100% do.
Yeah.
Especially agents, they definitely will.
Agents 100% will call a journalist or reporter and say, this club has come after my player, the club's probably not even got in contact with them.
Yeah.
Just to sort of raise the profile, and then the club they are speaking to can then they can get the price up.
It's just all the agents would do that just to make more money.
Yeah.
That's it, to get the player more money a week and the fee up so he gets more money. That's they do. Say Arsenal want a player, you might ring Tottenham or City or you might ring the journalist up and say those clubs are interested, but they're not. Just because it gets on the news and then City go, that's not right, and might get them interested, or it's just most of the time just to get more money. Yeah. Or the other club.
They're gonna, and it makes sense to be fair, but that's the role of an agent, I suppose, isn't it?
So at the end of the day, you get your client the best deal possible, and if you got to do that, which they all will do. When you go on like Twitter now with Sky Sports, there are some random interest deals, and you go, that can't be right. Yeah. And because the agent has leaked it to the journalist, and it's come out.
Fabrizio comes up with, here we go.
Yeah. Well, he's not been great recently, has he? Here we go. And it doesn't happen.
I see he was having to defend himself big time on Instagram, wasn't he? Because he said like, here we go is it's not an official. It's just like, it's not an official. He's joined. It's just like they're in talks or something.
It definitely was official back in the day.
I've also heard players texting journalists, like, so especially on deadline day, they've when the reporter's standing there, they've gone out and told the reporter or text the reporter that one of their teammates is moving to this club and it's happened, and then they're in the training ground watching Sky Sports on the TV and it's popped up like the little and ex-players moved here, and they know it's a load of bollocks. They just a bit of banter,
just a bit of banter. They would do, because they say all the training grounds, it's Sky Sports News all day, every day.
Yeah.
So if they're a bit bored, they probably would bit of banter, isn't it? Yeah, you do hear those stories, and the player going, "That ain't true," and everyone's laughing.
Yeah, and then the reporter just looked like a bit of an idiot.
Yeah.
On deadline day, so let's speak about some, I suppose, good deadline day moments. But first of all, at training grounds, do you see or speak to the reporters? Because you can always tell. I remember at Palace, you can always tell when it's deadline day because there'd be a big camera crew there with a few reporters reporting live, and they're always in hours before you, and they stay there until the end of the night when everyone's left.
Yeah,
just
they're like from 6 a.m. to
just reporting to an empty pitch.
Yeah, but no, I don't.
Did you ever speak to them?
No, they weren't interested. They probably didn't know who I was.
Yeah, but I just meant like just because they're probably bored standing there all day.
No, I never. Just maybe like a morning, afternoon, one of those.
Yeah.
But nothing. Never really a proper conversation. Did you speak to them?
No, I remember when like it'd always be as you're driving into the training ground, they always have, or like walking in, they always like have an intense look to see, who is this? Yeah. Is this anything I need to report on?
Know that.
Yeah, and then they're like, I don't know him.
Just a kid.
Yeah, because they used to be outside, didn't they?
It used to be at the end of the road.
End of the road, just before we turned in. But now they're all inside, I think. Trying to think of good deadline day moments.
Well, so you got the classics back in the day where before they did it in the training ground, they used to do it on the roads with the crowds would come around and the dildos out.
Oh yeah, David Bentley, wasn't it? Yeah, David Bentley did he put the dildo in the ear? Yeah, that was funny.
Just fun ones like that, and then was it the Odom Wingy one? Remember years ago when he drove to the club to try and push the transfer through, and it didn't happen.
Oh no way!
Yeah, he was at West Brom. Was it QPR on the Harry Redknapp? He drove to the training.
It's always Harry Redknapp.
He drove to the training ground to try and push the deal through. It never happened, and he was doing an interview. And you get those class ones because they're in the training grounds now. It's just not the same, is it? You can't. The general public don't get access to them and can't.
The dildo in the ear done that, didn't it?
Yeah, stop that.
That stopped that, definitely. In terms of, you just mentioned Harry Redknapp. In terms of managers, what managers that we've played under, I suppose at Palace are the most high-profile ones, that would be the most persuasive to get a player to join a club? And what sort of things do you reckon they're saying?
I reckon Sam Allardyce would be good at signing players.
Oh, he would, yeah.
I reckon he'd tell you what you want to hear and make you feel $1 million. I think he'd be good.
It'd be like, we'll get you a free bed instead of 2. We're going to up your wages. You're going to be starting every week. Yeah, missus and kids are going to be looked after.
Yeah, best schools and all that. I think he'd be good. He'd be a bit like that. Who else? I think obviously Patrick Vieira, just because of who he is, would have been good.
Yeah.
Like, bloody hell, it's Patrick Vieira. I think he would have been good.
You're just going to want to play under him, I suppose. Yeah.
I don't think he'd be great at selling it to you. Yeah. Just because of who he is enough.
Who would be the worst? Frank de Boer.
Yeah, Frank.
For an English club, yeah.
Yeah.
Just won't be able to speak to him. Right, let's go on to when players want to move, okay, but the club doesn't want to sell you.
Yeah.
What can you do in that situation? Have you ever been in that? You have, haven't you? In terms of like, you wanted to go out on loan, but they've sort of kept you for a reason.
Palace, I wanted to go out on loan at Palace a few times. So you'd go and speak to...
So what was your situation with that?
So I wanted to go out on loan, was told I was going out on loan, then a few loan clubs came in for me, then they blocked them. Palace blocked them because no, we need you around for training a bit longer with the first team, even though they didn't need me. It was just a load of nonsense. So I went, spoke to obviously Mark Bright was the loans manager at Palace. I spoke to him about what's going on. He's going, it's coming from above. Then I went to speak to Dougie Freeman, the sporting director, speak to him about it. He was just like, look, first team manager wants you in training.
So they've blocked your transfer just so you can be a training goalkeeper.
Yeah, and I was meant to go somewhere, a really good loan. Then third choice goalie Remy Matthews broke his finger or got injured, so that got blocked because they needed me for training. Then got to deadline day, and then didn't go anywhere until like January. I went to Portsmouth, but basically missed that 6 months of my career because of it. So we went and speak to the club, but the club, at the end of the day, club have final say, don't they?
Yeah.
I could have been. I've seen stories and I've seen people, heard stories, and I've seen it myself where players have wanted to move, club haven't let them move, so they just turn up late, do everything they can to not do it. They come in training, they just ruin training, kick all the balls away, throw the cones away, don't even train. Someone passes it to them, they just move out the way, just to try and just so the manager, piss the manager off. So he goes in, just goes, I'm fed up, get him gone. Whatever it takes, get him gone. So you see players like that. I didn't do that. It's not my character. I couldn't do that.
And also, I suppose that's a different situation to you because a player can do that. Let's say if the club have obviously kept them to stay to actually play in their games on the weekend, they want them for the games. that's when the player has more control because they can say, right, I'm just not going to play.
Yeah, and especially because and I was only on loan. A lot of those moves would be permanent. The player want to leave permanently as well, so it'd be a different story. But that's kind of how you force it out, really.
Yeah.
You just become a nuisance, piss the manager off enough that he goes, oh, just piss off now. Get him gone. Whatever it takes, get him gone. Yeah,
it's true. And I've mentioned this story briefly before, but I just want to say it again. The Peter Crouch one was great because he was at Southampton, and I think they just got relegated, but he had a good season, and he heard Liverpool want to sign him, and he went and spoke to Harry Redknapp first, and the manager at Southampton at the time, and he was like, listen, Harry, Liverpool have come in for me, Championship, to go play in the Champions League. Like, I really want to go. And Harry Redknapp was like, yeah, listen, mate, that's going to be a great move.
Yeah.
You can go. He spoke to the owner, the sporting director, and was like, listen, yeah, I really want to go Liverpool. Can we make this happen? Harry said, I spoke to Harry and he said it's all good. Sporting director comes back to him and says, no, you're not going. Harry's not going to let you go. Like he said, it's a great opportunity for you, but I've got to be selfish.
Yeah, you do hear those stories.
And then he actually started calling the owner up, and the owner weren't answering when he was trying to force this move out to go to Liverpool, and he weren't answering. So he got the owner's address, turned up to his house, rung on the door. He didn't answer. Went round the side gate. You see him there sitting in his garden, and apparently the owner was like, "Oh, sorry, I don't get reception back here."
That one.
But that's fair. I respect him more after that. The fact he's gone and done it himself.
You hear those stories over the years of players doing that, just turning up on the chairman's, because they all, like I said, they don't answer the phone.
Yeah.
They go missing.
Yeah.
So sometimes you take it into your own hands and go and knock on the door.
Yeah.
And sometimes force it through. So you have heard those stories. Like I said, you got to do. It's your career.
Yeah.
You got to be selfish. It's your career at the end of the day. If you get a move like that, that's a once in a lifetime move. What an opportunity.
Yeah.
You're going to do everything you can to get it done.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't happen
100%.
then for him, but happened down the line.
It shows also how ruthless and selfish the managers are, because he was like, yeah, that's a great opportunity for you, but I'm not letting you go. I need you to win us games. So what about the opposite, where you've been forced out of a club? So you're happy to stay, but the club are like, right, no, we're selling you. Like let's say you've got 2 years left on your contract, or 3 years left, and you're happy to see it out, you're playing, but the club are like, no, you've got to go. Like, this club have come in for you. We're going to sell you. What? Obviously, you've technically got the power because you've got years left on your contract, so they can't force you. But
there's nothing they can do to get you out.
They can just make life a bit miserable at the club.
You've seen it a few times where the players will get bombed off to the reserves and just train with the reserves. They may not have a squad number. They get kicked out of the first team dressing room. Things like that would happen. But like I say, the players, there's nothing. The player has a contract.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't want to move, there's nothing you can do to move. You can make him, like, you hear stories of there being in, like, Jack Rodwell when he was at Sunderland, had to get in at 9 and leave at 5.
Yeah.
To make it, but you can't. But if the player does that, you can't do anything about it. You just got to try and make him uncomfortable and try and force him out. But if he's not going to go, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do. Yeah,
same at Peter Crouch at Spurs. I remember him saying that they basically said, right, we want to sell you. He didn't want to go. They said, right, we're not going to play you. You're training with the kids, and we're not giving you a squad number.
Yeah.
So then you probably would go, wouldn't you? Like, you're not going to just waste the whole season.
No, a lot of people would go. But again, if you're on the big bucks and you probably realistically know you're never going to earn that money again.
Yeah.
Why would you go?
Yeah.
A lot of players would. You see at Man United now. So many players would just sit out and just take the money and then leave on a free transfer in 2-3 years, 1 year, wherever their deal's up.
Yeah, definitely. On leaving a club, this is from the listeners, when you leave a club, do you have like a leaving do or leaving go to the pub with all the team? Like, what happens when you leave a club, especially if you've been there for a few years?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Just leave and that's it. You never speak to anyone again, really.
Yeah.
You just.
It's so true, isn't it? Like, you can be with someone and build loads of good friendships and relationships with the staff, with the players for years. Let's say like even 5-10 years. If you leave, it's very common you just never see any of them ever again.
Yeah.
Like, there might be the odd player you've built up a really good friendship with outside of football.
Yeah.
That you'll see again, but other than that, it's just like, it's so weird, football. You just don't ever see him again or speak to him again.
No, it's like you'd be best mates for like 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Every day in training, and then you leave or they leave and you never see them again.
Yeah.
It's just the way it works. What happens is if you're lucky to be at training at the time, you can say your goodbyes then.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I was able to be at training, said goodbye to everyone. Then you get put a little message in the group chat. You get kicked out the group chat.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Do you leave or do they kick you out? You got to leave.
I put a message in every time I've left. I've been kicked out too, but
but I always think you've got. It's better to leave rather than them having to kick you out.
It's different when you're free. Leave on a free. You get released. And forget because the group chat goes normally quiet over summer.
Yeah, it does.
So you kind of forget.
The staff group chat as well. That goes quiet.
You forget you're in it, and then you maybe go on WhatsApp in like beginning of June, and then you've been removed. Go, oh yeah,
shit. He's trying to stay with us.
Yeah, because that's when they go. Well, look, lads, we're coming back for pre-season. They kind of put plans since they kick everyone out.
Yeah.
But when I left, transferred, I put a message in and just left myself.
Yeah. Ollie Webber has left the group and the club.
And never be seen again.
Yeah.
Never been back.
It's crazy, isn't it? And then you just they'll probably see like someone else has joined the group. Their new signing.
It's ruthless like that. I feel like that's probably like that with most jobs as well. You kind of leave a job. And you kind of won't speak to them much again, really, will you?
Yeah.
It's just the way life is. But it is weird when you do spend. I spent like 6 years every day with some people, staff.
At Palace, yeah.
A person's never, ever heard from them again.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? What about on transfer negotiations? Have you ever been, I think the term is ghosted by a club? So you're talking to them, they're interested, and then they've just blocked all contact with you, and you're just like, what's happened?
No, I've not had that.
No.
But you do hear stories of the club's been interested, and all of a sudden they just like ghost, and you don't hear anything, and then you go on Twitter like a week later, and they've signed someone else.
They've signed a better looking, taller.
Yeah, you've gone. That's why they ghosted me then. So you do hear stories. I've never experienced it, but you do have. I've been negotiating or had interest, and they've gone, look, we've decided to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
So at least they've told you.
They've let you down gently.
Yeah, but they've not just ghosted me that I've gone on Twitter a week later and gone, oh, those fuckers have signed him instead of me.
That's when it happens though, when they've got 2 or 3 targets at the same position, and then they've got their preferred one, I suppose.
Yeah, some decent thing to do is just send a message being like, look, we've gone down this route for this reason, whatever it is, just so you know. Yeah. But a lot of the time, like I say, they just don't say anything. Yeah,
the closest I've been to that is when I was like 18 or 19, I was in talks to go on loan in Spain to Villarreal, but it was like, it would have been great, and it was like 2 weeks into it, and then I got injured, and I had an injury history obviously before that.
Yeah.
So then it just nothing come through, man. But I wasn't really ghosted. I just couldn't play. It would have been good. Right, last few things. What's your thoughts on obviously the sort of new version of signing pictures, videos, the promotions of players joining a new club? Do you think it's getting too much? Because it is a bit much. It used to be the classic sit down with the manager, signing a sheet of paper, or just standing up with a top.
Yeah.
And that used to be it. And now it's like the unveilings are just like a little movie scene, isn't it?
It is a bit much. So some of them are quite good.
Yeah.
But it is just a bit much. It just can't beat just the standard. Hold the shirt. We've signed so and so. Boom. That's it. You don't need to overcomplicate it.
Yeah. It was Ronaldo, I think, that changed the game with it. When he got signed for Madrid, he had a full stadium full, and he just come out and like did keep ups, and it was like a massive event. But
I think that's how like Barca and Madrid do it like that, don't they? They make a big event out of it. Big.
Do you remember Santi Cazorla? I think when he got signed for the club, he
came out of that thing.
It was like he came out of like it was like a David Blaine magic trick. He come out of
smoke and
loads of like smoke tunnel and things like that. That is too much.
That is too much. But like I said, I don't mind some of them. I think Burnley are really good at doing. Yeah. They make some really good ones. But I just think just announce the picture with the shirt. That's what you need to do. Don't overcomplicate it.
And they always do the awkward one that they have to do on social media, where it's the player holding up a camera.
I hate that. I've done that a few times.
And they're like talking, but you can see their eyes reading off a script, and they're like, yeah, whatever. Like, let's say it's at Arsenal. Hello, Gunners. Really happy to join this club. Can't wait to get started.
Yeah, there's no emotion in it.
No emotion.
Reading, like, I've had to do it a few times. It's so awful.
Yeah.
And you mess it up. You got to do like 4 or 5 takes. And there's loads of people standing watching you do it as well.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It is a bit funny to watch that though. It is funny, and you can just tell they're reading off a thing. But,
yeah.
Right, we'll end on this true or false section.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just tell me true or false. I'll do the same, but transfer edition.
Okay.
Players fake injuries to false transfers.
False. Because why would a club sign you if you're injured? I think players would fake an injury to get out of a game if there are no transfers on the way and they want to get injured, maybe that. But I don't know if they would do it that way.
Yeah.
What do you probably think?
Would they fake injuries to force a transfer?
So then why would the club sign him if he's got injured at that moment? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I don't think that's the case. One thing that comes to mind when I read that though is there's certain players that have like when you get suspended.
Yeah.
Like people. There was a player that basically, I think it was Mark Noble or Mark Nolan, that he got suspended 5 Christmases in a row, and it's like, has he done that just so he could get Christmas off with the family? Like he's probably on like 4 yellow cards. Last game before Christmas, he just flies in 2-footed to someone to get Christmas off.
I've witnessed a few players get red cards deliberately for Christmas.
Yeah, do you reckon?
Like just the most rash tackle ever.
Defo, yeah.
Last man, just pull him over, like doing for no reason, just to get Christmas off. But also, is it Neymar used to miss, like when it was his sister's birthday?
Oh yeah.
He always was suspended for that. So
yeah.
So the players do things like that, but I don't think anyone fakes an injury to force a transfer because I just don't see why the club would want to buy him if he's injured in that moment.
Yeah, that's true. Number 2, agents talk to clubs behind the players' backs.
True.
Yeah, definitely true.
100%.
Yeah. Agents do loads of shit behind people's backs.
Yeah, just to get hype, get things moving, to get maybe things out in the press.
And
then the player might message the agent going, what's that about?
Yeah, build hype, yeah. Basically say like, it could even be like this player's interested in joining this club.
Yeah.
Just to get other people interested in the player. Last one, clubs plant fake rumours to distract the fans. So a good example for this is, let's say Arsenal were desperate to buy a striker, weren't they, for all last year?
Yeah.
Do you reckon to shut the fans up, they'd be like, set a fake rumour out there saying Arsenal have gone in heavy for this striker, knowing full well they're not going to go get him?
Potentially.
Do you reckon?
Potentially. I would say no, like that would be false, but I think there will be circumstances where they might
do that.
Things like just to hush the fans down.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I think that would be a false.
Yeah, I think that's probably false, but it wouldn't surprise me if clubs have done that in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.